Jared, what areas of Orlando should I absolutely avoid? And I get the question nearly daily. This is the actual question that I hear.
Jared, where should I buy a house in Orlando? Where should I spend my money?
What they're really asking is, what area matches them best? All the areas we're going to talk about, we're going to go through the marketplace, and I'm going to show you what is safe for you to purchase for your budget. Today, we're going to spend time talking about what I call the move-up class of homes. This is the category of relocators that are coming to the area, spending anywhere from $700,000 to around $1.3 million. And by the way, don't click out yet because you're saying,
Jared, I am not spending $700,000 on my home. I'm going to spend $500,000 or $475,000.
it's okay. When you see where most people are moving to at $700,000 to $1.3 million, do you think it would be a good idea with your $550,000 budget to live in the same area as that class of home above you? And the answer is obvious. So this is actually for everybody, but what I want to uncover for you is where you can safely invest a move-up budget in Orlando. If you've been watching my channel, about 5 months ago, I did a video on this that went wildly popular. And so I'm doing it again in a different price point. And here's what happens and what you can expect if you're moving to Orlando. You are going to get a map view of where most people are buying with this budget, where you can invest it with a higher degree of safety, because the areas that I'm going to show you are the areas where if you are shopping from $700,000 to just over 1.3, this is where these homes turn over the fastest. That means that if you were ever to buy into this area and for whatever reason you have to move away again, this is where there is very high demand for someone to take your seat when it's time to sell. And that's an all-important reality. There's a lot of people who have very good budgets. They come to town, they can buy most anything they want because they're well above the median price, make absolutely miserable decisions. Ultimately, sometimes just buying in an area that doesn't contribute to their interest. They buy something that violates their own lifestyle goals. They buy something, they find out, I spent all this money for this and I really wanted this, and we want to make sure you avoid that going in. So with all that out of the way, let's jump over to the map and show you the marketplace. All right, here we are on map view. This is where we're going to talk about all the different areas. And obviously you can see these pens populating. All these properties that you see here are properties in the move up budget, the 7 to 1.3, almost $1.4 million range, that have turned over recently and turned over quickly. This gives you an indicator of where homes in your budget exist and where there's highest demand for them. Now, what you get for that in each of the areas, I'm going to walk you through. What the schools are like in each of those areas, I'm going to walk you through. Lifestyles, the real estate. This is the heart of figuring out what you should avoid and where you should gravitate towards and where you should hone your search in. And most likely, if we're successful by the end of this video, no matter where your budget is, again, if you're at 500,000 or 450, all the way up to maybe even 1.8, you're going to have a better idea of where to hone your search in on this massive area of the Orlando metro. Now, right at the jump, let me give you some bearings to consider so you're not lost as we move around this map. The heart of the map right here is the downtown Orlando area, right? The Kia Center, the soccer field, all of that is here on the southeast side. The downtown area kind of runs right through the heart. I want to be careful where I put this icon because things will show up on the screen. Down here is the Orlando International Airport in the southeast. You have UCF campus up here. So this area down here, just southwest of Dr. Phillips, is specifically the Walt Disney World location. This is basically their entire property. It's a huge area. You will not see any real estate through the heart of this particular area because it's all commercial property. Now, above that, you have Universal Studios up here. You have SeaWorld kind of wedged in down here. International Drive is right here off of the edge of Dr. Phillips to the east. A lot of things that cater to entertainment and also tourism live in the Southwest. Next, let me give you an idea of the major roads so you know what you're traveling on for most of the time. Now, we have I-4, the spine of Orlando, which kind of comes right through the heart of town. It's actually an east-west road. When it comes to Orlando, it has like a north-south bearing, which is how we usually travel it. But outside of town, it shoots all the way to the far east to Daytona Beach. You can take it all the way to Tampa. You have the 429 Beltway, which is the west travel beltway. So from the I-4, very top of Orlando at Seminole County, it will take you all the way to Apopka, all the way through Winter Garden, and eventually land you on the south edge. So you could literally take this beltway, shoot all the way around Orlando on it, and take I-4 and shoot down to Tampa. You have the 417, which is kind of a mirror to the 429. It shoots off of the same I-4 at the north, loops all the way around the east side, takes you all the way down towards Lake Nona, and loops all the way back towards Disney World. After that, you've got the Turnpike. The Turnpike goes from Miami, it shoots straight, and it crosses the opposite way of I-4. So it kind of crosses through St. Cloud, through the middle of Orlando, cuts you through Winter Garden towards Claremont, and shoots you out to head north from there. Next, you have some of our major state roads. So you have the 192, which runs across the south. This is a very busy road most of the time, kind of runs through the tourist corridor, runs to Kissimmee, St. Cloud, all the way to Melbourne. With that being said, as we move through the different areas, I'll try and give you a greater idea of commuting in these different areas as we talk about different parts of town. All right, to walk you through this in orderly fashion, we're going to start in quadrants. So the first quadrant we're going to start with, we're going to move into the southwest. We're going to kind of call this the Disney theme park corridor. And this area comprises right here off of Sand Lake Road. You're going to have Dr. Phillips here. You're going to have Windermere right next to that. Behind that, you're going to have from this area of Lake Apopka all the way to the south, the Winter Garden area. And then you have a sprinkling of results here in Mineola and Claremont. Something I will add as we talk about the fact that if you see an outlier listing right here, right? So you see a property way down here for $853, and we kind of take a look at what it is. So this property is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot lot, probably sits on water, and that's how it hit a price tag. But the reality is, if you are the only 800,000 price point sale recently in that area, there's less density. So something you want to think about, a lot of relocators or people that tend to move or plan a future move, say, I'm not going to stay here forever. You are thinking about resale value. And if you don't, it can tend to make your life miserable when it comes time and your company moves you somewhere else. You want to think about that because the density of the pens tends to be more safety for your budget. So something to think about as we look at the map. Now, even though we're talking about the theme parks as kind of a central piece for this particular area, right? You have Disney World here, you have Universal, you have SeaWorld, you have all the touristy stuff over here on the edge, even some down here off of 192 up against Celebration. And I didn't bring them up earlier, but we're going to talk about Celebration as well, the town that Disney built. If you look at all these areas, there is something for everyone. This is not just family-oriented area. There is also empty nester area. There is an upscale area. There's areas you're paying more for schools than you are for the luxury conveniences around your house. So that's the kind of key of this video. So as we look over here on the far west side, you have Dr. Phillips all along Popka Vineland Road. A lot of this is waterfront. A lot of this is golf front. A lot of it is 40, 30, 50-year-old homes, and they're more custom. They tend to feel more nice. That's the quote. They're nice. And I would say nice because on the continuum of real estate in this area, I want you to think about new versus nice. New tends to have a different feel in Orlando. Am I right? Go in the comments and tell me if you can tell the difference between a brand new construction house and one that's been around for 40 years on the middle, upper, and luxury grade of construction, right? There's just different vibes. There's just different nuances, different character, but there's also different price tags. For instance, Windermere, Dr. Phillips, most of what you're going to find in this budget, it is going to be older. It might need a $150,000 remodel when you're done. Just depends on what it is, okay? So that's something to keep in mind. When you come over to Horizon West, you come over into Claremont, a lot of these areas are no older than maybe 25 years for the most part. And much of it is even built in the past 5 or 10 years. Now, up front, I'm going to tell you that you will most likely be very happy with the school options in all of these areas. It caters to that. A lot of folks are going to spend money, and the real estate value itself is higher. The tax cost is higher to actually create a school environment that folks in this price bracket are going to want to be attracted to. Okay, so that's a point I want to make. Now, if you go towards Dr. Phillips has what's called Restaurant Row. It's going to have a lot of access to dining, to social clubs, to things that even empty nesters are attracted to. Folks that say, I am done. I've been cooking all my life. I want to enjoy a different meal every night of the year. There you go. And honestly, the majority or the highest level of choice of great food for this edge, if you are more of the foodie type, you are going to find yourself on Restaurant Row if you live in the Southwest. If you live somewhere else, it might be the downtown area, it might be in a different part of town, but that's where it's going to be here. Not that there aren't any options in the Horizon West and Winter Garden area, but there are far, far fewer options. And more of this is about school choice, newer houses, and options to get to the theme parks in a very convenient way. But again, let me give you some concrete things to think about for this area as we move through it. Dr. Phillips, access. You're going to have access to pretty much everything. You're going to have real estate with character, okay? When I go to Windermere, I'm thinking a little bit of a transition. I'm thinking specifically through the heart of Windermere, a sense of a more peaceful environment, more quiet streets. It's kind of in the middle of town. I'm not saying it's never traffic prone, but the traffic speeds through here is like 30 or 35 miles per hour, and it is monitored ridiculously well by local police enforcement. I will say Windermere echoes the real estate sentiment feel of the Dr. Phillips area. So everything over here, 32819, 32836, 32835, even those areas, and 34786, these are going to be the real estate with character, except for some of the new areas of Windermere, which aren't even that new anymore. They're probably still themselves 2005, things of that nature. Most of this is going to be the older real estate with character, larger trees. You're going to have oaks that are enormous. They've been there forever. And just, again, that's the vibe of this particular area. When you come through Windermere and you hit Horizon West, the heart of Winter Garden, you start to see a transition to more of a master plan community vibe. You're going to have the newer houses. And honestly, there's going to be downsides to all these areas. I'm going to walk you through those as we kind of head out of this. Obviously, too, we want to talk about celebration, because if we're in the Southwest, you see pens down here like, Jared, what is this Reunion area? These are high-end short-term rental homes. This is not where you want to live full-time if you're actually looking to buy and actually have your family here and all this kind of stuff. This area down here is not something I'm even going to bring up in this video. You could talk about it in an Airbnb video, because that's what it is. Celebration as well, charming, planned architecture, walkable town centers, Disney adjacent, okay? So Celebration, the architecture, the town, how they crafted the downtown, the plan, beautiful, okay? Now, there's going to be some downsides to all these areas. So let me walk you through each one, okay? Number one, if you live on the west side, you are more I-4 dependent. You can see the drop off right here. You are in the heart of surface streets, and your closest freeway access is Dr. Phillips, and it can grind and be a grind at peak time. Everybody that lives in and around Dr. Phillips, drop in the comments. Don't badmouth it. You just know how it is. You're trading things. It's a beautiful place to live. But the other thing too, let's move more Windermere. I've even heard Windermere commuting in and out of here can be tricky. Like, you have narrow ways in and out for traffic. But other than that, if you want solitude and decent traffic flow most of the day, that's going to be just fine for you there. Horizon West, okay? So when you talk about the downsides, the catches, what to watch for, I've heard people in this budget, even recently, say the homes are nice, but the backyard width is weak. There's too much street parking, and that's the downside, right? So you go to these newer neighborhoods. This was very expensive. They build them based on community offer. So Oakland Park, for instance, this is in the north. You're going to have, beautiful kind of like farmhouse style. This house was on the market 11 days. It's pending at $935,000. This area has a cult-like following. And ultimately, you have smaller lots built with high community offer. So it's like, okay, we didn't give you so much dirt. And you're going to see this throughout the town. You're going to see a lot of these park neighborhoods, Oakland Park, Baldwin Park, Avalon Park. A lot of these communities are built with high community affiliation in mind, less in your own backyard. Lots of community parks. So this may be a downside for you if you're in Horizon West. You may not like that. It may not be for you. And so that's the thing. It may be getting voted off the island. I would also say more traffic. Watch for the south. The south end of Winter Garden is having a lot of traffic to get into 192. There's a lot of the south end. Get a really good feel. Like when I'm touring people in Winter Garden, I'm always like, hey, check the south end. Make sure it's for you. I mean, it's not going to be that way forever, I think. But you have pinch points down there as well. Last call out on things to watch for in this area, Celebration. Be careful because it can feel touristy. I mean, all the time. So you have 192 right outside of your doorstep. And 192 is basically where you are going to extension shop away from your house. So you have all these shopping centers kind of in Celebration, but you're going to be moving out here. And at all times, these areas, I mean, you got those Disney t-shirt shops and tourist shops, all this kind of stuff, all stretched out here. This is something that the rest of us don't experience. If that doesn't bother you, then you're okay. If it does bother you, focus on the north. Go move out of that. So just a quick word, okay? Hamlin, if you want a newer, amenity-rich living lifestyle with strong resale value, go through the heart of Winter Garden. If you are down for like the older vibe, the older town center vibe, the feel of Chain of Lakes adjacency, having character and scenery, Windermere is going to be for you. It's like you're going to pay some premium for that, but that's basically what you get. Dr. Phillips is going to be, you got to have restaurant row, you want the dining experience, you want I-4 access. And again, watch your commute times for whatever you have to do in relation to getting out of there. That's going to be for you. And while we did not talk about Claremont, a lot of this out here is going to be peace and quiet and lake access. So everything you see that's a high dollar turnover out here is either downtown near the Claremont Town Center, or it's going to be tied to being near a lake. Most likely the highest places. Even the east side of Claremont, which is wrapped around Johns Lake. All beautiful areas, something to consider. Your dollar will go further. Schools will be a little different, except for you will have some private school access. It's going to be a little bit different offer. I'd say more of a mid-level school offer going this way. I would say also your school experience is going to be best for this entire area through the heart of this area. And that's going to be access to magnet school. That's going to be access to good public schools. That's going to be access to a lot of good private school options through the area. Hey, it's me interrupting myself. Are you selling or buying? One call, that's all you need, and put nearly 4,000 home sales and 23 years of experience to work for you.
Jared Jones is the way to go. Call 706-5000.
All right, we are going to move to the southeast. We're going to cruise all the way southeast. You're going to notice there's really not a wide marketplace for this budget down here through the north part of Kissimmee, or even in the south. You see a tantamount few lakefronting properties that are there. But other than that, there's really not a huge density of offer, even in the south central Orlando area. So zooming into southeast, this whole belt is east of the Orlando International Airport. You have the 417, which drops through it. The major artery, which you're going to travel through here, is called Narcoossee Road. Drops down here. I think it's called the 15. And then as far as the other types of elements you have in here, Lake Hart, Lake Mary Jane, Moss Park is a beautiful area. And then you have a lot of those designed neighborhoods I kind of described in the previous quadrant. Oakland Park, Baldwin Park. You remember those? There's a lot of those in this area, and it's anchored largely by Laureate Park. Laureate Park is probably one of the largest areas for this budget, highest amount of turnover. However, you have more. You're going to have golf course communities like Eagle Creek. You have Lake Nona Golf and Country Club. However, there is going to be nothing in there in this budget in Lake Nona Golf and Country. I'm just pointing it out as an amenity because that is really going to be like mid $2 million range for the most part on up. You're going to have Randall Park up north, Story Park. And again, some of these are stretching into the adjacent zip code. But again, this is going to be the entire area. Now, this area is really for people wanting a newer aesthetic. I would almost call this a crossover offer to Horizons West. And with it, the same downsides, right? It's a newer aesthetic. It's full on master plan. It's not the old charmy houses. It's going to be very good for you because people that move here love airport access. Commuters will pick this off the bat. Folks that are in the medical field, medical city proximity, a lot of people are being hired and transferred into that area. So they want to live right here close by, or they will go into the North Quadrant. I'm going to show you another offer. So if you are Medical City, this may not be for you. You might hate what I'm going to describe about Lake Nona, and I'm going to give you where everybody that wants to have less than a 30-minute drive to Medical City ends up going next. But all of that, when you talk about these particular areas, you're getting a newer kind of finished house. You're getting the community offer, a little bit smaller lot space. So I'm going to pull up something at random, okay? This was on the market for 29 days. This is just sold for just above $800,000 to give you an idea. And again, I want to show you the backyard just so you can understand what I'm talking about. So you have alley access. So the garage is on the back side of the house, right? And then your backyard, your official backyard's kind of like the side of the garage and between the garage and the main house. Let me scoot back and see if I can. Yeah, there it is. This is the backyard. This isn't for everybody, but there's a lot of that in the area. However, the community is beautiful. There's tons of trails, tons of places to hang out, tons of community elements where you could just get lost in them, and they're wide open spaces. And so as an owner, you're going to have that property. I can pull up another one because the aesthetic is also part of the dream here, right? So like, look at that house. You're going to find a lot of new construction doesn't have the same aesthetic as some of the old stuff, right? And honestly, some of the new stuff gets lost. Like some of the new stuff can be just very basic, and you can kind of see it over and over and over again. When we talk about production homes, means that builders built them in mass. So you can see there's just a lot of elements added to this particular home, okay? This one was 21 days on market, Laureate Park, 4-bedroom, 4-bath, 2,880 square feet. The lot size is 6,600 square feet, okay? So it's not an enormous lot size. Your average monthly fee is $171 a month for the HOA here, okay? So that's kind of like what you're getting, okay? And ultimately, people will move into these neighborhoods like Eagle Creek, like Laureate Park, because they want pools, they want fitness centers on site, they want cafes on site or nearby, they want a lot of trails, they want a new urban feel. You've got the Lake Nona Town Center in the area, which has a lot of, to offer and a cool place to hang out on the weekends. And then you have all of these, tons of shopping, tons of commercial offers, lots of restaurants. Every time I look at the restaurant offers in Lake Nona year by year, I feel like I see more, and I feel like I see higher and higher ratings, which is all good things, right? The things that people want living in Dr. Phillips or Windermere when they're 10 minutes or 5 minutes from Restaurant Row. I'm not saying that Lake Nona is that caliber, because people are going to go in the comments and straighten me out on that. But I am telling you, I see it improving, okay? And so that's the thing. Now, the schools in this area, again, much like Horizon West, are generally well-rated public tracks. You have charter, you have magnet options nearby, and basically when schools are non-negotiable and you want newer, this kind of becomes exactly what you want, okay? Now, one last thing is the watch outs. Like I told you in the cons, if you will, things to be careful of. Narcoossee Road is pretty congested. So this is an ongoing thing. I've done plenty of videos on this. So if you've already watched, you already know, like some of the short stretches in this area can take longer. And at rush hour can be, you'll be at the same light for 3-4 times over, maybe more. You have a lot of active growth at all times, okay? All the Southwest and Osceola County, even this is Orange County, but basically all these areas, there's constant road cones and shutdowns and things of that nature. And so active growth creates periodic detours, noise, different things that people, you're in a growing area. In the long run, that's going to be okay. But in the short run, you're going to see it probably when you come visit the area. So the other thing too, much like Horizon West, this area has tighter lot spaces. Master plan communities, they offer at least a little bit more curb appeal, I think, than most regular newer subdivisions. They dial them up a little bit. They make them nicer. But if you got to have a little bit more distance from your neighbor, I hear a lot of comments like, oh, I can probably ask my neighbor for pepper and I can reach out the window and they can hand it to me, kind of thing. Like people that are coming from more space and want that, I'll give you some alternatives to that. Okay. So that's it. That's the Southeast. All right. Coming up to the north, we're going to zoom into the university area. So we have university area, UCF right here, Research Park. You have the 417, you have the 434. A lot of this largely will encompass in your search Oviedo and Winter Springs. And the best way that I can describe this is school first families. That's people that want to be in STEM programs or medical pros tied to UCF or Research Park, or buyers, honestly, who want quiet suburban streets, all that kind of thing. Children who are planned for the UCF area. And again, we're largely above the Orange County line going into Seminole County, which is lauded as some of the best schools in the area. Let me give you an idea of the real estate here. I pulled up a property in Winter Springs. This was on the market 8 days before it sold. It was 3,100 square foot. It was built in 1992. It was 4-bedroom, 3-bath with a private pool. And again, this was on the market really quick. You can see it has like a custom area built out the outside. I didn't pull up the lot square footage, but this is probably maybe a 1/3 acre lot, something like that. And you could see the house just has really cool character. Like They just added some things to it. It's not so cookie cutter. Again, yep, this is right on a 1/3 acre. It's 12,500 square foot lot. This is kind of what you'll see in the area. You'll see, some cases, older homes. There are some newer stuff, but it's not a lot. I would say anything newer than 2010 in Oviedo specifically or Winter Springs, it's a handful. It's not a lot because there just weren't a ton of permits. There wasn't a lot of construction that's been done here in the past 10 years. In the move up category, you are going to see a lot of transactions really between 800 and the upper 900s. Now, what do people get when they live here? What's the lifestyle amenities like? Well, parks and trails are the headline here. You have Cross Seminole Trail, which is awesome for cyclists and things of that nature. You have neighborhood parks, you have youth sports, you have some outdoor kind of shopping districts like Oviedo on the park for dining, events. You have Winter Springs Town Center for everyday conveniences. And the 417 is what the artery is that kind of saves your life. If you decide that you have to be at the airport a lot or you have to be at Medical City, you're going to shoot down. And it is pretty easy to commute most of the time. And again, as I mentioned this briefly when we're talking about the southeast quadrant, this is going to be the location for you if you are a commuter or you have to go to the south and you don't like the new type of real estate or the newish real estate. The other thing that I want to say too is that on the outside edge of town, there's a lot of rural and lower density as well. So one of the things that I hear people gravitate towards when when schools are important or if they're not, the other thing is the real estate, much like the Dr. Phillips area or the Windermere area, a little bit more space, a little bit more character in the real estate, what we call nice. The only thing you have to be potentially concerned about is there a possible remodel on the way based on where you're buying it? Many cases it will be done for you, but you have to be careful of that. But this outside edge offers a lot of rural on the east side, meaning there's communities of 1/3 acre lots, 1/2 acre lots, 1 acre lots, 5 acre lots. So there's neighborhoods full of real estate in that range. Thinking of Chuluota, you have Bithlo, you have Geneva, which doesn't have a ton in that price range right now. And same thing with Wedgefield. Wedgefield down here on the outer bands of town. These are not terrible to get in and out of if you are like, oh, my kid's going to UCF, but I want to be kind of a little bit less sense of being in town per se. There's a lot of that offered here on the outer edge of town that is quite nice. All right, team, we're going to move away from the northeast and head to the central north area. Now you can see where the trades are happening, 700 to 1 mil right here, okay? So you can see outside of that, this is sparse. You say, Jared, what are those little things over here? Those are probably large acreage sales, bigger estate, 5, 10 acres, things of that nature out here on the west. Nothing wrong with those areas, but you're obviously seeing more of a density in trades right here off of I-4. These areas that we're going to talk about on the north edge of the metro area, the south area is Longwood, the middle part is Heathrow, Lake Mary, and the top edge is West Sanford. Now look, I want you to show you something because Sanford, there's a lot of chatter online about different areas of all these cities. There's people always giving a representation of their experience in any town. You gotta understand, Sanford is wildly vast. You'll notice over here that in the seat of Sanford, the city seat, right? This is the downtown vibe, the park area that's on the water, all that kind of stuff. Notice how many trades are in the move-up budget. Really, on the east side of I-4, there's not really a budget there in that category, okay? So we're talking about literally Heathrow as it folds into the very edge of the Sanford district, right? So you have all of this area. Again, you're going to want to rely on I-4 for travel. That's going to be a key thing. So if you're in this area, you have a scant few surface streets to consider aside from traveling I-4 to get yourself out of the area, even if it's to go to the next town over. Now I say that because you see this huge green area. This area right here is not something you can travail. This is a state park, okay? So this area, you have to travel around it. You're taking like Wekiva Parkway, there's roads that run against this, and obviously this is a beautiful area, okay? And with that, let's talk about who it's for. Who considers this area? Why do they pick it? Why are all these trades happening? Because you can see this is a lot of trades at 800, 900, $1 million. So first, school first families. If schools are a concern, we're still in Seminole County. There's still a consideration here. Next, move up buyers who want mature trees, more of a custom feel and quiet streets. So the other thing I would mention too, it's great for folks who like country club or golf settings. So you have a lot of that. You have lake and trail living as well, because it's just naturally a very beautiful area. So the other thing that I will tell you too, a lot of this area has mature forested areas, especially against the pocket going towards like Markham Woods Road, things of that nature. They left the trees tall. And so that's it. The areas, by the way, I'm going to show you some of the real estate, the communities themselves, they just feel a little different. Let me give you an example of a property in this area. This sold well over $1 million. Okay. So keep in mind, this is in the move up budget, but this would be over 4,000 square feet, half-acre lot. You got a barrel tile roof, big swimming pool. And again, I'm not a big fan of the color choices on the interior, but you can see just some of the design features. You got some crown trim, millwork, tray ceilings, large open floor plan through the middle, a lot of one level homes. So a lot of that kind of thing is what you have being offered in this area. Now, as I said in the opener, lifestyle amenities, reason people move here from a lifestyle perspective. You got Heathrow Lake Mary, a great country club. You got the golf, you got lakes, a lot of lake access properties, some chain of lakes here. You've got access to boutique dining in Lake Mary. You've got the historic downtown Sanford Riverwalk scene. You've got Longwood and Markham Woods, which is wooded lots. Like, you got wildly large estate homes, by the way. You could go, multi-acre kind of thing in some of these properties. And if you really love the outdoors, I mean, living down the street from Wekiva Springs for the outdoor recreation, a lot of people are huge fans of that. So as I mentioned earlier, Seminole County itself, from a public school standpoint, is a major draw to the north area. And this is something that people draw from a resale stability standpoint, right? Especially if you're spending something in this price point, you're getting a bigger house. A lot of times you're going to have people that are buying from you that are concerned about the school zones. Now, what are the things to watch out for? The potential cons from a buying experience, from your perspective, looking at this marketplace. You need to watch for the age of the systems, okay? Any of these areas that I've mentioned that have homes that are built in the 90s, that are built up, inside of the 2000s, you want to watch for the age of the roof, okay? You want to watch for the HVAC. You want to watch for the plumbing and have, those kinds of things are going to be obviously things that get inspected. But you're going to watch for I-4, the choke points on that particular road. When will you drive that road? And I say that because the commute can pinch near the Lake Mary Longwood interchanges. And also, you are going to want to learn the Markham Woods back roads, because those are going to be highly necessary for you. The other thing I would point out is there's HOA variability here. Some subdivisions have light HOAs with good freedom, but maybe mixed standards for how they govern the neighborhood. And you're going to have other areas like Heathrow, which are guard gated, have tighter rules and tighter dues. So you're going to want to watch that. And again, you're also going to be seeing some road improvement, some construction. Some of the road systems here will require patience at times. And as I've said a lot about traffic kind of coming in and out of the area. So that's obviously something you want to be paying attention to if you're giving this area serious consideration. All right, team, we've nearly done it. We have made our way southwest, southeast, northeast, northwest, and we have one area left. This is the core. This is the central part, the downtown. This is the vibe. If you've got to have walkability, you want character. You're seeking character in your house. Even if it's 100 years old. If you're a professional, you want a short commute. If you want to trade yard size for architecture, for trees, for cafes and parks. If you're an empty nester or you're a family wanting vibe over suburbia, Orlando has something for you as well. So when we come down to the downtown areas, we have to start right here in the middle of town, right? I-4 crossing 408. We're going to start in the north quadrant. On the west-northwest side, you're going to have College Park. On the northeast side, you're going to have Audubon Park, Mills 50, Colonial Town, and Baldwin Park. Down here on the core east side, you're going to have the Milk District. You're going to have Thornton Park, Lake Eola Heights. For Soto, you have Delaney Park. You're going to have resales there. And you're going to have a spillover effect trickling down here that will take you to the southeast part of town known as Conway, which we'll call the Lake Belt, which is, hey, I want to live downtown and I want to be near the lakes, you're going to have a lot of options here. And yes, there are many, many lakes around the north side as well. You're going to see a lot of those transactions along the west side here in Winter Park, kind of moving down. So we're going to talk about all these areas, including Maitland, which I did not bring up, which is up here to the north right off of Winter Park. Now, I wish I had more than enough time to do a good job of talking about the downtown area, because the real estate here is wide ranging. Okay. So obviously you can see we're looking at a downtown. This is, I think, southeast. Again, older home. This is probably 100 years old, 2,500 square foot. This has the history, the charm, the old wood floors, and touches done to it. So this was on the market like 4 days, sold for $872. Now, if I go back to this map, let me show you some things that you need to understand. Okay. So starting right here, for instance, the heart of downtown off of Lake Eola Heights, you have an actual mix of high-rise buildings. And there's only like 8 or 9, but there is an existence of high-rise opportunity if you wanted it, okay? And honestly, a lot of it's reachable. I sold a beautiful 24th floor unit this year. Shout out to Stan and Joelle. Amazing property for $400,000. It's amazing view. It's about 1,200 square feet. It's a smaller property. This, for instance, was a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. This is 2,600 square foot. It's on the market for 10 days. All of them, you will expect a HOA fee of anywhere from $600-700 a month to about $1,500 a month for door people, security, parking, all the features of the HOA. So that's something that is available really right downtown below Lake Eola. Now, beyond that, you're going to have a lot of historic real estate, except for places like Baldwin Park, where you're going to come over here and I'm going to click and I have no idea what we're going to see. It might be a townhouse. It might be a house. It's a house, right? Nope, it's townhouse. Incredible. So you're going to have a townhouse. Is that a townhouse? Yes, townhouse. 3,100 square foot townhouse, 3-bedroom, 4-bath for $895, asking price, on the market for 2 days, sold for $870. And again, there's going to be a variety of other offers in that area. Pulling up another one. This one's 3,100 square feet, also on the market for 4 days. Baldwin Park, man, you can't sleep on that. 4-bedroom, 4-bath. This is on the market for 1.1. It sold for 1,078. And again, this was built 2006, but you have this goal of trying to create a yesterday vibe architecture on the house. Got barrel tile roof, got a lot of things going on with this particular build. But this is, big open field. The lot's not enormous, but it's a walkable area. It's a beautiful vibe. It's kind of like, it has the celebration kind of vibes in the downtown area. Again, so you have that, and on top of that, you could go to Audubon Park and be in an older home, for instance. So we'll pull this up and see what it is. Right? Redone kitchen, redid the rooms, on the market for 4 days, sold for $970. Went over asking price. They had a private pool, by the way. So this is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,288 square feet, 1955 build, remodeled. Okay. And so there's a lot of this in the area. And again, all of this contributes to lifestyle. These prices are what they are because you have weekend markets everywhere. You have dining options, people that want to see skyline views at all times, people that want to walk to a Magic game or whatever. All right. You have all these old school vibes, older cafes, golf courses. You have excellent healthcare, by the way, downtown. So aside from Medical City, the second largest linchpin of available healthcare is going to be on the north side of Orlando, which offers a huge Orlando Health facility, Arnold Palmer Hospital, Advent Health. There's just a lot of offers down there. And again, you got a mix. You've got the old school parks, the neighborhoods like Delaney Park in the south in Soto. You got 130-year-old homes that are sitting there. And again, historic homes are their own animal, right? You think about upkeep and all those kinds of things, potentially remodeling them. It could be labeled in a historic district. All those kinds of things are considerations you need to be concerned about, and maybe if that's for you. And again, like I told you, you have Baldwin Park, which is right up against Winter Park. One of the most expensive zip codes in all of Florida is right above it, okay? And again, 32789, you're going to see a few options. And again, the real estate in this area is very expensive, the dirt, which means you could be spending 1.3 and have an incredibly old home sitting on top of an incredibly small home, okay? And here's an example. I don't even know what this is going to look like. This is 32789. And they have no photos. That's exciting. So they didn't actually give us an idea. But this was on the market for 2 days, 3,200 square feet, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, built in 1925, sold for 1,150. And unfortunately, we don't have any pics, so we don't exactly know what it was. But again, all of this is access. Beautiful, charming areas. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful areas. And things you're not seeing. Okay, so there's areas in here where you're not seeing any pens show up in the 7 to 1.3 range, right? For instance, so you have right outside of Delaney Park, Dover Shores, Lake Como. These are just in the price category beneath it. Cool areas as well, maybe for you. Again, I'm trying to give something for everybody. If you're trying to live in the historic area, there's just a lot of really interesting things here. And by the way, on the education side, street by street, the area matters. You've got magnet school options, charter options. Baldwin Park is popular. College Park, Delaney, Conway, all have sought after school zones in them. Winter Park High School, huge offering, a very popular public education institution in our area. And so that's it. Those are going to be things that you're going to be paying attention to if schools and your setup there for your family is important. Now, what are the cons of this area? If I think about people who, call me, Jared, where should I move? And maybe they still work downtown. Based on what they tell me, I'm going to decide whether or not that's even a match. If they're concerned about the lot size, like they want more room, they're not wild about alley parking or people parking on the street and things of that nature, that's probably not going to be a vibe for them. People that have concerns about the age of the home or potential for renovation, if those things are not in their budget, that's probably not going to work for them. A consistent hum of a bustling town, right? That is what we call road noise, and it travels. There are a lot of areas in town that are quieter than others. But there are some, for instance, if you live close to the 408 downtown, that is a busy highway and it is noisy. I am amazed that people live on Lake Underhill Road right up against it. Like there's actually real estate sitting with the 408 in your front yard. And I guess someone bought it. It's amazing to me. But that's something to be considering. And the other thing I would say, apart from like Baldwin Park, there's not really HOAs. So that may be exciting for a lot of you. People might like, yes, Jared, amen and amen. Give me a non-HOA environment. But you have a very unique cut of, there's a lot of non-HOA and there's a very few HOAs in there, which means you're really the only governance you have is code enforcement and your municipality, which they have a few things that they could restrict against you. Like tree removal or getting a permit to take down an oak that's been there for 80 years. That may be something you have to deal with, even though you're not an HOA. So that's it. That's basically the things that I would say. If you're for character in cafes and hospitals, College Park is going to be an awesome vibe for you. If you want to be close to a modern town center, you like lakes, you like walkability, newer products, Baldwin Park's going to be for you in the downtown area. If you want kind of the classic street vibe with easy park access, you're probably going to be like Delaney Park and Soto. Lake Davis Belts is another one that I would talk about. And then if you are a foodie, you like mid-century charm, you're going to want to probably be around Audubon Park, maybe in Thornton Park, obviously. Conway, if you are looking for cool, this is the suburbia of 35 years ago. This is, you feel this. This was imagine if, I don't want to say what I'm thinking because people won't get the tie-in, but this to me is just the, the cool suburban neighborhoods that were just put when this was the outside edge of town, probably in the 70s and 80s. And it's just nice. It has some elements of the Dr. Phillips real estate feel. And again, a lot of lakes and things of that nature. You want to have a dock, things of that nature. You might find water. I mean, maybe not in this budget, unfortunately, but living near it and having the ability to take your boat to it, definitely an option. So that's it. Did I help you understand the marketplace better here in Orlando? And if I did, make me this promise that when you're ready to buy or sell in Florida, you'll remember this moment and give me the opportunity to earn your business. Even outside of Orlando, I can help you by connecting you with a trusted agent. I honestly do not make these videos for ad revenue. I make them to build a relationship with you before you need me. So please, if I've added value, do me a favor and commit right now to give me a chance when the time is right. And if you haven't done so already, do me a favor, drop down below, smash the thumbs up. It'd mean a lot to me and help the channel. Consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates on growth, housing market, and data news across the Orlando market.
Jared Jones is the way to go. Call 706-5000.